Hello and welcome. You're watching Coronavirus Facts versus Myths. I'm Gargi Rawat. First up, let's get to the latest COVID data. And India has reported 22,431 COVID cases in the last 24 hours. That's 19% higher than yesterday's figure when the country reported 18,833. 318 deaths have been reported during this period. That's up by 40 deaths compared to the previous day. Active cases comprise of 1% of the total infections. That's currently at 0.72%. If we talk about the vaccinations, then India's cumulative COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 92.60 crores yesterday, according to the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. That's single jabs that have been given so far in the country. Now, the first topic on the show today, there's been a lot of discussion about the need or not of a booster vaccine shot, as several studies have reported a decline in the efficacy that starts after 4 to 6 months. While experts say that this doesn't necessarily mean immunity goes down, it's worrying for those who are more vulnerable or those who are more exposed, like doctors and healthcare workers. In fact, there are reports from Mumbai that nearly every top doctor has taken a third dose of the vaccine to boost their protection. But meanwhile, in India, the focus remains on ensuring that 60% of the adult population is covered by the vaccine by the year end. So we can't be diverted by booster shots just now, but do at least the healthcare workers, those who are in the front line, need to now have booster shots. And should that be a decision for across the country? Let's talk now to Dr. Rachna Kochariya, founder, Doc Genie Telemedicine. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us on the program. So while, a lot of people are worrying about this waning immunity, etc., it is the healthcare workers and the doctors who are most vulnerable. So what is your view on the need for a booster dose for them?
I think the same policy applies, that let's get 60% at least of the people who need the vaccine 2 dosages, because in doing that, you will cut severe disease and to some extent then transmission as well in the rest of the population. So the risk going down in the community means risk going down for doctors as well. If a wave doesn't hit, if we don't get multiple waves, then doctors are also safer in treating those patients and in the hospitals. That's one part of it. The other part, we still don't have very good data on what are the correlates of protection. The third dose, the good scientific data we have so far is that it may be helpful for the severely immune compromised, which is a very, very small percentage of people, those with organ transplants and such. So that's the data we have. We really don't have the data. Declining antibodies. So that's another thing that puzzles people. People go ahead and get antibody tests done with regular laboratories. Now, that is not a correlate of protection. You can have somebody having had severe COVID and a number 3 or 10 or 11 antibodies, and somebody who didn't even know they had the infection and in the thousands. So that does not tell you how protected you are. That's one part of it. And even if studies look at some other neutralizing antibodies which are not available to the public and say that those may be declining, that's only one part of the immunity. The other part is something called memory T cells, which it's very hard to measure. And those play a big role in remembering that infection and then generating the body's immune response. So yeah, maybe in a year or so, and remember the vaccination drive for most physicians or healthcare workers started only in the beginning of the year. In a year or so there may be data early next year saying that, boosters are required. But right now, I don't think we're on solid, firm ground to say that those third dosages are required. If people are doing that, they're doing it in their own individual capacity. It's not a dictum at all.
Right, because there are reports, you keep seeing of doctors in Mumbai, and we've heard also that there are many hospitals, the vaccines that are left over at the end of the day, they are giving themselves a booster shot of it. But having said that, as far as the policy goes, we also know the World Health Organization has been really pushing that rich countries and, countries which have more vaccines, that they should be diverted to countries which have not received enough doses. So the focus shouldn't be on booster doses just now.
Absolutely. I spoke about this in Hindi as well on your channel. Here's where we all need to rise up. The pandemic isn't over. I know many things require our focus and attention. Lots of headlines of other things are also happening. But don't forget that the pandemic is simmering. And if the poorer countries, Sub-Saharan Africa and many, many others, the vaccine rates are as dismal as 2%. And other countries are going on to do a third booster dose or have stockpiles 4 to 5 times of what they need. What are they sitting on them for? please, I mean, the advocacy needs to be from every person on the planet that let's get every person who's eligible vaccinated by the end of the year. Whatever your ideology, I keep saying this, whether you're a nationalist or a global citizen, or you think, selfishly or not, or benevolently, remember, biology doesn't obey any of this. That virus which is simmering in these places which are very, very poorly vaccinated is under great mutation pressure. And it'll take all of 24 hours for it to sit in a plane and come to one of any of the countries, rich or poor alike. So I think it's in all our interest to stand up and to do the advocacy to the powerful nations who have 4 to 5 times the vaccine, get it out there, get everybody vaccinated, and make sure that the supplies are there as well as the immunization happens for these other people. It's in individual interest as well as community interest.
Right, absolutely. Well, this brings us to the second issue that we're discussing, and this is some great news for the world. The World Health Organization has endorsed the first malaria vaccine, the first against the mosquito-borne disease that kills more than 4 lakh people a year. The WHO has said that it was recommending children in Saharan Africa and in other regions with moderate to high malaria transmission to get 4 doses up to the age of 2. So, Dr. Rachna, your reaction to this wonderful news? It's great news, and it's great news for India as well, isn't it?
It's good news. Certainly, it's always encouraging, when you have developments in healthcare, and this is a disease the world has struggled with for decades and decades, as well as the vaccine has been in development. This vaccine was around. The news is that WHO has endorsed it or approved it for use in Africa, which contributes to more than 90% of childhood deaths from this largely preventable infectious disease, malaria. So great. I mean, if you're a public health officer sitting in lots of African countries, it's good news, it's great news. But I will put a caveat for India, just a reminder, because, public health, poor thing, doesn't get discussed too much, but thankfully, I mean, we didn't want the pandemic, but it is coming to forefront. And even in the case of this vaccine being approved, remember that we shouldn't be at risk of kind of having quick tech fixes for public health improvements that are very much required. And I'll give you an example. So malaria rates in this country, and thankfully some of the deaths have gone down considerably over the past few decades. There are a few spots in certain parts of the country that it's, still quite high. So, we'll come about the vaccine later. What is actually needed and is being done, even the government shifted their focus from what's called a malaria control program to a vector-borne disease control program, which is much broader. And if you can control those vectors, which is the mosquitoes, either by prevention of getting bitten, using nets, using repellents, or by collection of water, you not only prevent malaria, you prevent dengue, chikungunya, Zika, Nipah.
No, absolutely, because the dengue cases this year have been absolutely terrible, especially in parts of UP where we've seen so many children getting affected by dengue, and it's hoped that we will have a vaccine for dengue as well in India.
Gargi, good point made. And again, I'll break it down to, yes, tech fix is good. But remember, basic public health measures, if we can get down the mosquito population. And I'll give you another example. So hepatitis A vaccine, it prevents against hepatitis A, which is a waterborne disease. Now, there are many, many other waterborne diseases, typhoid, gastroenteritis. If you can just make the water safer, focus on those. I'm talking about, these are the public health principles that we need to focus on. And of course, it's great to have a vaccine, but let it not distract from the hardcore and tough work of public health, which is providing safe water, ensuring that mosquitoes do not collect, and children get safe toilets. I think if you can work on that diligently side by side, then of course, this is good news.
Right, no, absolutely improving sanitation in areas, because this gives rise to so many other diseases that affect, young children. We have high rates of malnutrition because of constant diarrhea and various other diseases. So absolutely. So you're saying while vaccines are great, but we need to also concentrate on improving the situation in many of our villages and towns.
Absolutely agree. As we say, the basic public health measures, it's a pyramid system in healthcare. The bottommost is prevention, the largest. If you work on that, it also takes, it takes effort, but it's the least costly, it's the most cost effective. If you work on that, then, vaccines, remember, development and giving out is much more expensive. And that's how most of the Western world has managed to overcome these infectious diseases, is basically by boosting up their public health system, safe water, safe toilets, and getting rid of vectors, which are mosquitoes and others.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Rachna, for joining us on the show with that.